Ulonga tabati yada to ye kuma da Ifa. Inu to ye ko je love bipa. Oba tala, oba takutakun. Songo Eshu, Ogun Oya Osun. Kini ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o. Ó jẹ́ lọ jára.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the Ashe African Spirituality Experience, another live stream, and we are joined today by our distinguished community elder, none other than the Oba Oloye Ojise Baba Ifa Karade. Alafia, boya Boshishe. What's good, Baba? How you doing today?
Alafia dadani. Okay. Moato ashuri ofun. Ashuri ofun. I am well. I am so looking forward to today's discussion, our podcast, and hearing from our distinguished, listeners out there, all our people, one love. Okay.
Ashe. Oh, well, here we have it. Here we are, man. We're back once again. Shout out to everybody who's been showing love. Like I said, the channel definitely growing and short order, man. And exponential growth has been taking place over the last week or two, and I give thanks to the tribe. As always, y'all know we appreciate you. We appreciate the love, the support, the feedback, the shares, the people who you're sharing the channel with, the people who you're telling about the channel. We appreciate it. And, we couldn't be doing what we're doing the way we're doing it without y'all here with us. So we definitely got to give, our flowers to the tribe and just give thanks and appreciation, man, because that's why we do what we do. And I appreciate every single one of you. And that's facts. Shout out to Nkosi and Queen for, being VIP members. We got our first call tomorrow at 12 p.m. So I'm looking forward to getting with y'all so we can get this thing cracking as promised. And I can't wait, man. It's been a phenomenal ride, and we're just getting started. But without further ado, Baba, you ready to get this thing cracking and making it do what it do?
As we always do, my brother. As we always do.
Yes, sir. Like we always do it this time.
Yeah. Much appreciative.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I got the ball. All right.
Yeah. So real quick, Baba, before you start throwing up them threes and dunking on people and catching alley-oops and all that, you know how you do what you do. Let me ask you real quick before we get rolling. So what inspired today's show? What inspired the topic for today's conversation, Baba?
Well, based on all that we've been building, okay, the edifice of Emo knowledge, wisdom, and Ogbon understanding, it becomes very, very important from an insightful journey that the mind state, the Ori Inu, the Ori Isese, though hardly ever taken into consideration, must be taken into consideration. And within that consideration, there dwells the mental awareness, the mental bringing into strength and empowerment, the mental dimension of Isese. And that leads us to meditation. And that becomes the thrust of today's podcast. Okay? Because it's one thing to continually give offerings. It's one thing to continually divine or be divine for, or a reader and go get readings. All of that is what it is. Okay? Again, I'm never here to, bash anybody's thing. It is what it is for those who it's for. I, however, want to add to that circulating kind of understanding of this is what we do and this is how we are and this is what contains us. I want to add to it sort of an iconoclastic, breaking free of that, or should I say extending that to the realization that there's more to it than that. And so now we start to dwell into the meditative sciences, into the inner Isese. All right. And that's what it's about today. Baba Orisha baby.
Ashe. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Meditation has been a really hot topic, on the channel as well. And I got to give a shout out to Baba Astarius Miraculi. Him and I are going to be getting some more work in, some deep, good energy, spatial, universal, top tier. I should say work, together, collectively, we're working on doing some things to bring that healing and, that whole vibrational frequency elevation type thing to the, to the community and to the tribe. But also, it's been something that's been really beneficial, extremely beneficial for me. And I can't stress enough how many powerful downloads that I receive. Every single time I have a good deep meditation, I get some sort of download, I get some sort of wall gets removed, the block gets removed, or a hurdle gets crossed. Like, it just always seems to give me some sort of beneficial return on my investment. You know what I mean? Some ROI, the time invested into the meditation, I get that return, from it. Sometimes immediately right after I come out of it, sometimes, throughout the next couple of hours, throughout that day or the next day. But it's extremely beneficial. And I love that we're going to hit it today, but we're going to hit it on a deep level. And I can't wait to hear the way you kind of tie in your own perspective in regards to meditation, the benefits of meditation, and just, whatever insight you can give us to kind of help us take our meditation practices to the next level. So for the tribe, y'all, I don't know if y'all know or not, but Baba is an adamant meditator. He's an adamant Tai Chi practitioner. Baba be putting in work, man. He gets it in on a daily basis. And it's like, I learned so much from him, not just on the podcast, but even in our personal conversations based off of the practices and the disciplines and all the different things that he has set up in his daily structure. And it's helping to mold me to kind of create my own version of that by utilizing some of the framework that I see that he's using within his structure. So it's extremely beneficial, man. I always, just got to make sure that I give thanks for you and for all that you do, Baba. So I'm looking forward, to hearing your sights and insights and your whole perspective in regards to this thing that we call meditation.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, first of all, my sincere thanks and appreciation, for the recognition that you share. I live this. I hope to reflect it. I hope to bring about a resonating vibration and frequency, so that, as you mentioned, others within the realm, of Ifa Isese specifically, not everybody in general, from people that I meet and the students that I have, everybody feels the vibe. For those who are within the inner circle, or some of the ripplings of the inner circle, then we, kind of focus more on it and say, this is how we get to these points. This is how we tune in to the frequency of our nature, of the Da of our existence. Now, where it becomes a little bit different, is that aside from the Kemetic, what we've grown up to understand, okay, and I'll use that word in quotation marks, because we really don't understand. Let me say, what we've been shown on an increasingly frequent basis is that, the meditation arts and the meditation science and those who partake in them are basically non-African. Okay. Now, I would dare say even in the Kemetic sense, because, in the Western attempt and the Middle Eastern attempt to separate Egypt, Kemet, from Africa, there is a diluting of the potential, the power, the ingenuity and the high civilizations built upon the minds of our people. You see, what did those pyramids mean to the people, not just to those who built the pyramids and engineered the pyramids? You see, so the same falls into the crooked line of mental practices, meditational practices. And again, I'm coming specifically from an Ifa Isese corner of the universe. Okay. Not a broad term, because again, I know that in most minds bombarded by mass media, that meditation and sciences of meditation are not a part of the West African construct. Because remember, that whole enslavement time, you know, tortured time, erased all of that. And as we were dehumanized, we were also dementalized. And so whatever practices we had, whatever beliefs we had, whatever internal sciences we had, were basically torn asunder. Okay. Drips and drabs here and there, but for the most part, generation after generation, we were what they were attempting to make us, subhuman. Okay. And that is a mind-bending horror. Now that we have an opportunity to go beyond that, we start to find that the whole meditational practices are African in design, African in creation, African in the execution of the mental uh, enlightenment that comes as a result of introspection of the mind. And we find that again with the Kemetan, and we talk about, the pineal gland, pituitary gland, all the glands come in as a part of consciously awakening the inner potential of the human being. Now, from the very beginning of my practice in meditation, yeah, it was from the Eastern studies. And yes, it had a lot to do with the Hinduism and, of all the Hindu gods, and studying yoga with people like Shrami Rahman, and, understanding the impact of the 60s, when a lot of the gurus and yogis were coming into the United States, and the meditational practices were taking off. The same way that Bruce Lee kind of brought the whole kung fu thing into, and hence, a rippling effect of Chinese medicine, Chinese practices, Asian studies, karate, all of the martial arts things started kicking off. However, there was still no semblance of the West African taking off of meditational practices and sciences. We were getting into the quote unquote religious aspect, the quote unquote spiritual aspect. Now, again, on the mental side, I was learning about all of the chakras and, experiencing this. But it woke me up in the middle of the night, one fateful night, and stated that you can't go any further with this. Spirit was speaking softly, but hitting all the right buttons in terms of waking me up. You can't continue like this, because inside of these chakras dwells the divinities of a given culture. And this culture, perhaps by extension of generations upon generations upon generations, might lay some genetic, some bloodline, but 99.9% of you is right here, as far as the West African geographical and geocultural place. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Now we deal with another type of syncretism. Now we're bringing the quote unquote Indian folks from India, their culture into Ifa Isese. And you'll have people who get into Reiki and all other forms of quote unquote Eastern studies, and then apply it to Ifa Isese. And I get it. I feel as though it's a beautiful thing. Okay. But within me, there was like, as you're developing as a priest amongst the people, you need to have a deeper connection to the inner structure, the esoteric, the Orisha internal. Because all the while people trying to get you to, become a Hindu, and people trying to get you to become a Muslim, and people trying to get you to become a Christian, you know what I mean? And Spirit is saying, no, I can only be Ifa. That's all I can be. But I don't do really anything about it, And I know this seems like the long way around, the meditational thing, but I can't plant the seed if the soil is not fertile. So I got to give people the backdrop, so they can say, yeah, I went through that, or yeah, I understand where it's coming from. Because before white women took over basically meditational and yogic practices, as a mass media statement, look on any magazine cover, trust me. Okay.
Yeah.
Then before it was, again, gurus and yogis, 99% male, but they were cool with it, no problem. And from it, some of us in the Afrocentric communities were picking up on meditational sciences, and those who got into the martial arts were picking up on meditational sciences, but hardly any of us who were getting into African traditional religions or African spirituality were picking up from it from the African center.
I see.
A Sora set, as far as I can put a finger on the pulse of, was probably, if not the first, amongst the first and most influential in terms of kind of opening up that door and saying that our African ancestors, via the Kemetan experience, were deeply entrenched in meditational sciences, meditational practices. Okay. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're starting to get a little feel for this. Now, when I realized that, my meditational practices couldn't be the opening of Shiva and, other Hindu god stuff, I started doing a little research, started wandering around, and I came across this very old dusty book at the top of a shelf, and again, Rutgers University there in New Brunswick, and it talked about the Dravidians, and until this a few hours ago, I reinforced, discovered that the Dravidians are the ancestral people of India. And where did they come from? They came from the eastern part of Africa. Some of our earliest ancestors moved to the east, and some moved to the west, some moved north, and some moved south. But the whole Tamil thing. But long story short, it was the Dravidians who set the stage for what came to be known as the Hindu way. It was our ancestors who developed that before the Aryans came down, maybe 2,500 years ago, and invaded, as usual, from the Caucasus Mountains, that whole thing. But I started looking at how meditative sciences were opening up my ancestral bearing, and were making it a better counterbalance to the struggles that I was going through. And like you stated, when I started noticing that whatever my mental state was had a lot to do with how things came about in my life, or didn't. So I need to work on my mental state. And how do I do that? Okay. Well, the sciences were already there, and they are there as a creation of our ancestors. Okay, so now we have the Dravidians who came up with the Upanishads. The Upanishads precedes the Bhagavad Gita, though argued. But now that they can do DNA testing and there's more knowledge than say back in the 1930s, okay, it's coming to light that A, the Dravidians were African people. B, the Dravidians set the foundation. So when the Aryans took over, that kind of syncretism emerged. But the Dravidians, that side of the Upanishads, was less about religious practice and hierarchies, but more about the spiritual evolution of the human being. We don't see it, we don't hear about it, but that's a whole nother conversation, connected to imagery, something we can cover in our classes. But the whole thing is the Upanishads in writing were stating some very deep and profound statements about the human condition, which I'm doing research now to add in a chapter in Elder Reflections 3 on correspondence and correlations between the Upanishads and Ifa. Okay. Back to the meditational specifically. Within the handbook, we have the chakras. Now, it's meditation upon those chakras that bring about a deepening of the human experience. Okay, so from 7 to 1, and within those chakras, instead of having the Indian or the Hindu gods, okay, or from studying Tai Chi, the Chinese have Chinese gods inside of the chakras. You understand what I'm saying? But when we start looking at the African world internally, I had to say, if every other culture can have their divinities inside of them, why can't we? Why can't we? Well, because we have to do it ourselves, and nobody else going to give it to us. And somehow I think that's part of our problem. Well, somebody should make a movie about this, and somebody should write a book about this, and somebody should say something about this. Well, it's up to us to do for us like that, And if nobody else is going to do it, I'll do it. I ain't scared. You know what I mean? I'll do it. So inside of us, we have the chakras. Now, upon meditation upon the chakras, each chakra has a word, if you will, a vibrational frequency. Okay. Like for the third eye, pineal. Okay. It's Om, O-M, Om. And the sound of that vibration stimulates the primary. And then come to find out, it wasn't the folks from India, it wasn't the Caucasians who came down who developed that. It was the Dravidians who developed that and traveled, across the continent, as well as to other lands, to include India, and then built, the great Indus Valley civilizations. So you see, meditation is not foreign to us. And in respect to Arumila, okay, which I'll take a little break and then go into that, we also find that there's an importance to the inner working of the mind. Okay, but before getting into that, I mean, any comments, statements, or questions?
No, not yet. Everybody just coming in and greeting, giving showing love, speaking, and giving their blessings, their peace and their blessings, and hallelujah. So yeah, but I'm sure we're gonna have them as we continue to roll through it, though. For sure.
Well, it's incumbent upon me to you know, take a brief, you know, and then ask, and then, you know, head to the next, because I don't want to be going on and on and on, you know.
Nah, I got you. I tell you what, if anything, I can go ahead and start the presentation, and then I know we're gonna have questions with that, and you know what I mean, and then yeah, and we'll just go from there.
All right.
And plus,
One last statement before we do, you know, as we're getting it up.
No, hey, you do what you do, man. You got the wheel. I'm the co-pilot.
So, you know, I want to really set this thing up with the Upanishads, you know, and I really want to set this thing up as our people being the originators of the meditative sciences and practices. And I say the Dravidians, you know, as the earliest known, but again, they weren't confined to any village or town. You know, these were some of the earliest cognizant Homo sapiens sapiens who had evolved to a certain level, and part of that evolution dealt with an inner understanding of the mind and the frequencies that one could sound, as in the beginning was the word. You understand? To bring about a certain, you know, way of perceiving and a certain openness of a mental state that we have the capability and the inner capacity to evolve from within. You see? Now, the Dravidians also came up with these 3 syllables. Now, along with the frequencies, I'll just say Om now because I want to connect with that in part 2. But da, da, da. Okay. Now, da, da, da becomes very important, you know, because it's one of the earliest recordings of symbols and sounds that bring about an understanding of how we're going to move as a people, how we're going to move as an individual. Okay. No. Da being self-control and composure, and maybe we can connect that to Iwa Puele, so to speak. You know, what's your character? How are you balancing your behavior, okay, based on your psychological mindset? Okay, Da. Okay, how are you moving in terms of your reverence to all to the being of life, your ancestors, okay, the divinities that you hold so dear. And then the third Da, okay, is what reverence do you have for all things, living, non-living, both or neither. You see, these become the meditational ways that we live Ifa Isese. Not just go to the ceremony, not just get the this or get the that, but actually, how do we govern our lives? And how can we expect to govern our communities if we can't govern ourselves? How can we expect to govern our nations if we can't govern ourselves as individuals and as the inner circles who create the rippling effect of the civilized, the uplifting, the bringers of goodness to the world? You see? So on, if I just stuck with those 2, you know, Om, okay, third eye, pineal gland, and Da, Da, Da. Okay, those 3. Now, as time and classes go on, I'll demonstrate how we even utilize that in our literature to continually promote the image of a sound that resonates to the development of an individual. And I dare say, if we're not into Ifa Isese to develop ourselves you know, and make ourselves the epitome of our faith, then we're just doing the same as everybody else, but just dressed in our showcase. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? Okay, we want to praise, but we don't want to develop. You know what I mean? We want to do, but we don't want to, you know, go in and make differences, you know, within ourselves and within our communities. All right, so there's so much more, my people, so much more. But again, that's why we're having the classes.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. Okay. So you ready to get that thing going, Baba? You still?
Yo, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's keep it
Look,
moving.
look. I'm not. Look, I ain't trying to drive the master off the road, man. You know, I got listen. Look, shout out to the listener, one of our tribe members. I don't remember the profile name, but hopefully you know they're watching. But they're saying how they appreciate like me shutting up, not getting in the way when the elders are speaking. I'm like, look, yeah, I'm shutting up and I'm taking notes and I'm learning too, man. That's the last thing I'm gonna do is interrupt. But I'm gonna sit there real quiet and patient, and take these notes like Nkosi was saying.
No, and I try, you know, give it a breather because it's not all about me, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about us, you know.
Yeah,
So it's all good, man. You know,
I love it, and I think it's safe to say for the tribe we love it. So yeah, I'm all in. I appreciate it. Okay, well, family, we're gonna give it a go again with this presentation thing. I've been playing with this platform. I'm gonna get it figured out sooner or later, but I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick so we can dig in. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, we got it. All right. So we got it up and running the right way today. So I wanted to we're gonna go over I wanted to go over the logo again too, because last week when we did the live, I wasn't really happy with like how it came out, being that we couldn't really see it properly. So I wanted to kind of just hit that, and then for those who might not have seen last week's episode or other days episode. But so I was sharing in regards to our last live stream about art, and having the vision and the wherewithal to kind of be able to create, in regards to art. The sister who created this logo, she's been doing artwork for me for years now, since probably like 2017, maybe 2018, 2017, I think. And whenever I need things done, I go to her because I trust her vision. I love her vision. I just feel like there's certain elements that we got to have that melanated kind of, that melanated ashe within, you know what I mean, the creation aspects of art. And so with her having a track record and a history of creating phenomenal art for me, I kind of stick with her. So shout out to Queen for doing the work for me. But anywho, the logo, she created it on her own. I just kind of told her what the brand was about, but not necessarily Orishas or anything like that, just what the brand represented. And so she came back with it. For those who weren't on the last call, for those who were, I apologize for being redundant, going over it again. But so when she gave it back to me, I fell in love because I saw so many different like synchronicities and so many inner works in regards to what the logo meant. And a few of the things I even noticed I didn't share on the last one that I'll go into. But with that being said, man, when I first saw it, I fell in love because I saw the logo, but yet I saw what she did with. She included each one of the major 7 Orishas into the logo, and I don't think that was intentional. I'm not sure if it was or not. I have to ask her, but I don't think that it was. But long story short, the way we look at the way I saw it is, on the far left side, you see right here that to me that machete is symbolizing Ogun, and then I felt like the peacock was symbolism of Oshun. And then I felt like the beautiful African mermaid looking figurine that symbolized Imoja. And then also the bull, the buffalo symbolizes Oya. And then the double-edged axe, of course, Kabiesi, Baba Shango. And then the snail symbolizing Obatala. And then the snakes would be symbolism for the Gungun. And then the child in the middle would be symbolism for a certain aspect of Eshu. So I wanted to share it with a clear view, because the way I did it the other day, I wasn't really feeling that. And I don't know if everybody got to see it, properly. But Baba, after looking at it again, I started noticing, I feel like the little tips of the top of it look like kind of like the tip of a spear. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, yo, that's even deeper, because now we're talking about warriorhood. We're talking about you know, like the word that you shared in the last presentation, which I'm gonna bring back up again from Benin. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I saw. And then also, in some ways, I even see like the hands. They, to me, they kind of symbolize the tree of life. Very, very similar. Matter of fact, I got a tree of life like statue over here too that I can share. But anywho, that's what I wanted to get into in regards to kind of really clearing up the presentation, mini presentation that we did with the Ashe logo. And then to the real deal, Holyfield, we're gonna get into this beautiful picture that Baba shared with me earlier. Baba, before you get into breaking this down, I want to ask a question real quick for myself in regards to how does the snake, how does that metaphorically represent the Egungun? Before we get into the meditation,
I have heard about the snake being more of the Dambala, you know, you know, especially coming out of the Loa of Haiti, Osumare, the rainbow Orisha within the more the Yoruba construct. Now, how it relates to the Egungun, I'd have to do a little bit more research on it to speak, you know, with any sense of confidence. Okay. Now, granted, as we spoke on the last podcast, what becomes what one symbolizes is a matter of one's school of thought, you know, one's lineage, and what comes to a person via their studies, their knowledge.
I sure.
Okay, so again, that's something I'd like to ponder, and I need to ask, you know, how do you see it?
Well, okay, the first thing that comes to my mind, and mind you, this is just first thing that came, is as you were saying what you were saying, it's funny you threw me the alley-oop, but I feel like the first thing that comes to my mind is the Kundalini aspects, you know, of the spinal cord. You know what I mean? Because that they say that the Kundalini, or I should say the spinal cord, is kind of like the connection to consciousness, right? So if you figure that, even if we're looking at the chart right here with the meditation kind of being a metaphorically representation of, or I should say a metaphoric representation of meditation in the 7 chakras, right? So if we start at the root chakra, at the bottom, that's going to represent the root chakra, which is kind of tied to Shango, and then, you know, we'll go on, so on and so forth. But for me personally, when I think of snake, the first thing I think of is health, and I think of the staff of, you know what I mean, of people in the medical field. I think about the Kundalini force, whereas energy rises from the bottom, you know, and goes up to the top once it hits our Ori, and then goes out through the crown. You know what I mean? So I'm like, when we're talking about spirit, and we're talking about the Egungun, we're talking about the ancestors, I feel like we as people, in some shape, form, or fashion, if you look at our biological makeup, we start off, you know, as a spermatozoa, almost like a tadpole. You know what I mean? So that, you know, it kind of moves in a way similar, you know what I'm saying, in snake. But then when you talk about a snake, you also, a lot of people would think, one of the things I think about the most is as they grow, they shed their skin. So as we grow as a spiritual being, we shed our skin suit. You know, we shed this physical body, this physical, you know, temporary vehicle that we're driving through as a spirit, as a soul being. And then we shed that suit to grow into the next level of our ancestral, you know, destination or cycle of life. Is pretty much how I would kind of say how it strikes me. Now, this is just based off of my speaking off the cuff and, you know, just freestyling, but that's what I got from it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna share something with you. I just needed to hear you say it.
I got you.
You interpret it now, and I'm to one point. I mean, you can't have the chakras without having Kundalini, you know, and you know, we can't move up if we don't know what we climbing on. Okay.
Yes,
So you are Spot on, brother. All right. But you know, because it's your interpretation that means the most to you. You know, it has to be you who articulates it.
Sure.
And see, that's what we're striving for. We're striving for Ifa Isese people to be able to articulate their experiences. I write books, I give lectures, okay? But if I'm not talking to myself and listening to myself and hearing the inner spirit of others and speaking to the inner spirit of others, then I'm not fully connected. You know, I'm not intertwined. I'm not thinking in those ways. I'm more or less acting instinctively. You know, survival of the fittest. You know, ride or die. You know what I mean? Die or die. You know, it's like where's the thinking going on here now? You know, where's the higher mind?
Right.
You know? Yeah, but anyway, I said all that to say that um, it was good to hear you say it, just like it's good to hear our listeners, you know, taking this in and putting words to it.
Sure.
How many times do I you know, am I in a class and the student responds, well, you know, I really don't know how to say it. You know, I really don't know how to put it in the words. And I say, well, look, we'll take a little time. You know, I don't rush them out of it. You know what I mean? Because being able to articulate it is a higher learning process. You see?
Sure.
Oh, this is very important and it's very powerful. You know, and at first when you said, you know, Egungun, I was thinking of the Egungun proper in terms of the mass the guild of Egungun. So I was trying to connect the snake as a symbol to them.
I should have said ancestors. My apologies.
No, it's okay because see, this is what people need to see us doing.
Yeah.
Dialoguing, you know, working it out. How can I better say it? Or I didn't understand it, you know, the way that you were thinking it. So let's bring it together. This is important. This is a mindset that's working. And this is what makes a tribe a tribe. Not just what they do on the physical sense, but are they in accord and in harmony with how they're vibing?
Sure.
You know, and if anybody's not on that vibe, then then they have a little bit of a, you know, a little something happening that, you know, folks try to straighten out.
Yeah.
And Kosi, I can't say that. I know that Iwaju means future, as in Ojo Iwaju, children of the future. But let's have you research that. See if you can find the Yoruba term for chakras. All right, or something similar to it. All right, you got your assignment, brother. You ready for class? All right, let's make it happen.
My boy don't miss a beat, man. Shout out to him, Coach. Y'all, he be going in, boy, for real. Shout out to him, man. Queen Liquor Waters, the whole tribe. Brother Nasu, everybody, man. I appreciate all y'all. All the Karade Nation.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start treating people more like, you know, they disciples, you know, in the temple. It's gonna be like because this is where we need to get to.
There you go.
What do you think?
Listen, virtual temple. That's what it sounds like to me, you know. Especially with the technology, we got to use it, you know.
Oh, there's no need not to have one.
Facts.
All right.
Excuse me. Shout out to Mr. Rodriguez coming in the building. Appreciate you. What's going on with your Lafayette family?
Okay, go ahead, bro.
No. I was just showing love to the tribe coming in. But no, go ahead, Baba, because so we were ready to get into, you know, this meditation correlates to each Orisha and each chakra.
All right, so when I first came up with this, now mind you, I just pulled this from somebody's site last night.
And I started to put the ones from your book in there, but I didn't want to like cut it too close for putting the presentation together.
I sent this one because it's color.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
And you know, we just talked about the whole chromotherapy thing, you know, and the impact of color and imagery and how color, you know, affects us.
Right.
So but you know, that's how, as they say, spirit works, because you put it out there and then all of a sudden I'm just scrolling through something and it's like, dang, That's what I was looking for. You know what I mean? It's in color. So here we go with, now I know it was taken out of my book, out of the handbook.
Yeah. Because that's the first place. That's the first only place I ever saw it. I got the handbook right here.
Exactly. It's just not there. So on page 47.
Okay, look, you beat me to it.
One now. You got the ancient one.
Hey, that's all right. Look, it still worked the same, man. This thing got a lot of miles on it, buddy. Look, I got it tabbed up, got all kinds of little tabs and all. That's my playbook.
The old one is you know what I mean? The old one's the granddaddy. I had to fight them for this to come out.
Man, you know?
But at any rate, when I put this out in the handbook, I had people hating me for days. You know, of the other, you know, the syncretisms that have come about. This is not right. How can you do that? And blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, first of all, I don't need your permission to do a daggone thing. Let's start with that. You know. Second of all, you know, I'm doing what I'm moved to do ancestrally. I'm not trying to please anybody right now. Okay. I'm just sitting here letting my hands be so moved to put down what the epiphanies are, what the revelations are that come through me via my initiations, the faith that I put in, the time that I come in to, like you say, like that snake, to raise my kundalini up to a point where I'm gaining an inkling of understanding. And does Isese not mean work on yourself? You know what I mean? To be, you know, a better work within the community, you know. So, you know, as I'm pulling this concept together and dealing with the hatred that I'm getting from other, you know, Baba Laos and, you know, Santeros and all them people, you know, it's like, what? This is blasphemy. You can't do this. You can't do that. Again, keep poking the bear. All right. Okay. I'm not bothering you. I'm not telling you what you can do or can't do. You know? So, and first and foremost, I'm doing this for my people. First and foremost, we're not going to be in the background. We're not going to continually be subjected, you know, being the subjects of some ruling, you know, hierarchy, even if it's a delusional one. You don't own me. You don't rule me. This is what is coming through me to bestow upon my people. And ain't a force in the world that can stop me. None. Okay. So here I have the chakras line up, and then all of a sudden the doors started creaking open. I started hearing the little creaks, and you know, some of my people was coming through. They like, damn, Bob, that's deep. You know, I had studied meditation for a while. I was in, you know, the seafood was talking about meditation and all, but I never would have dreamed of putting the Orisha in there. And I said, well, I dreamed of it, you know, and so I did it. And it works fine. I would be in certain situations, and if my heart started going a certain kind of way, you know, dealing with authorities and all that kind of stuff, I knew that Ogun was there for me. And I watched Ogun play out to bring that situation to where I was victorious. And things got done the way that I needed to get it done, to better myself and to better those people whom were in my charge. Okay. And the same thing over Talad throat chakra, well, when you start looking at the hormones and where this chakra plays such an important part in governing the whole body, then you start to understand that I just ain't sit down and make this up. You know, these are glandular statements. All right. And then, you know, it goes on and on. And then now we started to say, oh, well, some people starting to get it. And then some people starting to add, you know, more to it. But the foundation of it, you know, started back in the 80s and was published and copywritten in 1994. You know, so here we go now, 2024, and there's still people who are striving to reach that internal, striving to reach that esoteric, striving to bring about moving from within instead of being pulled and twisted, but by ropes and chains, moving from within. And this leads us to Orumila and seeing the third eye. Well, even going back to our Kemetan sciences, we start to understand the power of that pineal gland and how that is the portal, if you will, to other worlds, to other insights. And from my own meditational practices, going back to 80s and 90s, where I was man, I lived meditation, and there were times when my mind just went to literally to other lands, and sometimes it was very frightening, not because the land was frightening, but because our minds aren't geared to journeying spiritually. We might say we spiritual, but we haven't, we haven't crossed over into that other realm. I know it's there because I know it's there. You see? But it has to be a part of a discipline. It has to be a part of, this is what we do. This is how we live. We are Ifa Isese. We just don't, go to the ceremonies. We are also including the inner spiritual practices of our ancestors. And we find Orumila in the third eye. I'm telling you, that's where it is, because I've been there. And to add to it, there was said to be the brother of Orumila, Ela, another Orisha never spoken about, which is basically translated as the spirit of Ifa, the spirit of Orumila, the communication between Orumila and Olodumare. That essence of the space between the journey. You see, and Ela said be the only Orisha that can kind of keep Eshu in check. If Eshu, start to like test the boundaries a little bit too much.
Eshu start doing what Eshu do.
Yeah, and Ela was like, okay, gotta slow your roll, buddy. Okay. But again, there are different schools of thought. I'm just putting it out there for us to have something to think about and to know that exists. To know that it exists within the West African construct of we who are of the Oyo, the Edo of Benin, and all of those nations that comprise the empires. The empires. It may be 2024 based on the Gregorian calendar, but it's 10,064 based on the Ifa/Yoruba calendar. We've been charting the moon and the stars for over 10,000 years. And we lay our beginning back that far, and our internal works and our buildings, the Iya, the Great Wall of Benin. Okay, for example. It just wasn't built because people started scraping in the dirt, hunters and gatherers. These were people who had an inner movement to build the greatest structure, non-technologically speaking, in terms of modern technology, the industrial period, let me be specific, on the whole daggone planet. Okay, so they were deeply in tune with themselves, and again, carryovers from the more ancient to journey eastward to the Nigerian region, and whatever groups they met when they get there, because see, that's a whole nother chapter in study. Well, no, it's a whole nother book. Okay, in terms of groups of human beings that were evolving in different stages at different places, even upon the continent of Africa. Okay, which gave birth basically to the whole concept of Obatala. But any rate, another story. So the meditational practices are here and they are for us. And just like people came up with the divinities to go inside of the chakras based on their culture, I'm like, we can do the same. And the we is the I, and the I is the we. So I'm gonna step on out into the ring, and whatever hits I got to take for it, I can take it. That's what I trained for. Okay, but there will be deliverance of my people. So here we are, from Shango to Yemoja to Oshun to Ogun, Obatala, Orumila, and then of course Ori. That little soft spot that they say babies have, well, they say that babies have. Okay. Boom. The essence of spirit. But it's a two-way street, y'all. It's a two-way street. Okay. All right, bro. How we looking with that one? Okay. Then we'll
looking great. Look, I'm over here putting together a whole nother presentation. I got it. I'm almost done with it too. I was gonna share it, from the handbook, because I feel like it adds a whole nother element of clarity. The way you have. I mean, nothing against the one that we have, but I just feel like the one that from the handbook though, it definitely is a whole nother level of clarity. So I was trying to put together like a quick little presentation to share with the tribe.
Okay. All right. Well,
no, I agree. I mean, everything you said, spot on from my neck of the woods for sure.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And so
we got a quick question too, Baba.
Okay, explain the two-way street statement. Okay, so when we are conceived on to the time we are brought into the world, there's the brain plays so much of a part of that. I mean, obviously, okay. Now, when we talk about how the essence of life comes into us from a consciousness on earth reality. I mean, we're not born brain dead, aside from, anything traumatic. Okay. Then that flow, okay, is a basis of being open up here. And how do we correspond or correlate that to Ori? Because that's the supreme consciousness. That's where the highest thoughts are generated. And I'm now putting together a statement that Ori is not just about the head. Ori covers every last chakra. Ori covers every one of the trillions of cells that are in our bodies. So that consciousness in Kosi becomes something that's generated by the cells in our body, but is also needing to be made aware of by the cosmic essence of ourselves, the stardust, if you will, of which we are all components of. We are literally sacred dust. Okay. And so that element comes through us through our crown chakra. People call it the crown chakra for a reason. Okay. Hopefully that lends a little understanding to it, but again, we'll cover it more deeply in classes, and it gives us something to research as a part of being into Ifa Isese, not separate from Ifa Isese. not other than Ifa Isese, but at the core of Ifa Isese. All right. Wishabemi, you ready? You good?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Just multitasking, but I'm making it do what it do. So I got the next this. So we're gonna jump into. Did you want to finish up with meditation, or did you want to jump into the finishing with the art? Because I was able to throw something together real quick. Like, man, I feel like I'm in college again, and I got an assignment due, and I got to get the deadline. I got to hit that deadline before that 12 a.m. Or that 11:59 upload.
Yes. Yeah.
Go run out on me, man. So look, unfortunately, I got some experience with trying to put work together in a crunch time.
All right. Well, while we're absorbing this picture, I'm just going to go over a few terms in Yoruba that do relate to the meditational practices. Okay. For example, we started off with Isharo. Okay. Isharo. So Isharo is the Yoruba term for meditation. When's the last time you heard that in your Ile? You know, when's the last time you heard saw it on TV? They never show us doing the highest of things, you know, and the lowest of things we've come to, you know, accept as the only thing. And that whole concept has to be dismantled. Okay. But while we're dismantling it, the misconceptions, the untruths, okay, do we are set to build. So we're dismantling a certain mindset, not so that we're empty, but the same kind of speed that we're dismantling is the same speed, if not faster, that we are building new concepts, new perceptions of self, new perceptions of our ancestral bearing, new perceptions of what is going to be reverberating for 7 generations, new perspectives, shifting the paradigms so that we again unshackle ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay. So we talked about Isharo, Shishe Awo, training for the metaphysical, Ikoso, self-control, Ifa Iyabale, peaceful volition and nonviolence, Iwe Mimo, I like this one, spiritual teachings, Isharo meditations, Balaga, the state of consciousness when it first dawns, Iwapuele, we're familiar with that, the expression of deep control and behavior, composure. Okay. Imoye, knowledge. Idake Roro, the discipline of silence. Dama, quieting the senses. Olumoye is a guru or spiritual teacher. Olumoye. Okay. Erewo, undesirable behaviors. Ajaga. Now we talked about the word for chakras. Well, ajaga is the word that I chose for yoga because ajaga means to yoke, to bring together. And guess what yoga means? The same daggone thing. Okay. Apire, oneness with all things. Aba, the act of channeling, like with Tai Chi, the act of channeling Ashe, not just oh, I shade this, I shade that, I shade this. Well, you know, you got to channel it, okay, and not just for possession, but for an insightful kind of focusing of energy, an insightful kind of focusing of state of mind and state of body and state of spirit, okay. And lastly, you know, for the sake of time and now, Toro, which means tranquility. You see. These lessons are in general part of the Ifa Isese involvement. And the only people who are going to bring this up is us. And in particularly the Babalaos and the Iyanifas. Because why are we called high priests and priestesses? Because we can do more of the same thing that everybody else is doing. Now, I don't even want to start getting into how the Ifa schools developed 3,000, 4,000 years ago. In our spiritual center, Ile Ife, and the 3 cycles that Ile Ife went through, our people were meditational. They were deep. they made it happen. We didn't exist all this long time by being
shallow, lacking sustenance.
Yes.
Resilience.
Yes.
Ashe.
All right. Just wanted to cover that before you got deep on this, man.
Listen, Najee, I'm gonna let you do the deep dive in today, man. I'm just here for a little dip. Okay, so I did whip up something real quick, man. I cooked up something in the pot real quick for us, man. Like I said, I got a little experience from having to rush assignments, so I went ahead and put a rush job in. So yeah, now we can go into the you know what I mean? So look,
you just got A+, bro.
Look, now I'm gonna take my report card and show it to mama. See, can I get something for it?
Here go $5.
I'll take it. Hey, every little bit count, buddy. Listen here.
Uncle so and so be giving you like a little bit of money. How many A's you get? Okay, get $5 for every A.
I'm trying to get all of them. Give me all the A's and all the coins, baby. Let's get it.
That was back in the day, man. They love to get you money for getting them A's, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's nice, bro. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. We're definitely gonna use that in the classes.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, and the thing about it too, I want to go deeper into.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so we can really go deep into this thing, man. You know, if you want to, you know, it's up to you. Or we could just go ahead and finish with the, you know, we can finish with the imagery from the last call. You know, to try what y'all want to do. Y'all want to keep going with the meditation, or do y'all want to get back into the imagery from the last call? If anybody want to let us know how y'all vibing with the meditation aspects. Do y'all want to keep going through it, or y'all want to jump back into the images and then some Q&A? See what the tribe got to say about how we do this.
All right.
But yeah, I just, like I said, from the first time I saw or read the handbook, man, I'm telling you, like, it really was next level for me, because it gave me so many fundamentals that I could use, you know, along my journey, along my path. And to this day, like I was telling you too, I still listen to it all the time, because I have all three versions. I got the audio, I got the paperback, and I got the ebook. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it is what it is, man. In regards to this being what I call the Bible for Ifa. You know what I mean? And that's why I've always, anybody who ever asks me anything about the tradition, the first thing I do is tell them they need to get the handbook. Because I'm like, once you read that, at this point now you have a basic, well, it's above basic, but you have a basic fundamental in regards to what Ifa and what Isese, what Orisha, what all of that means. And then it gives you so many different dynamics and so many different elements. So even now, I figure it's been, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years I've had that book. There's still things that I learned from it to this day, whether I'm listening to it or if I'm picking it up to, you know, take notes or something that I need an answer for, and you know, I just want to figure something out real quick, I pick it up, you know. Or if I'm away from home, I got it on my phone because I got the ebook, I look it up, you know what I mean? But it's a very powerful book in regards to what the ground that it covers. It covers a lot of ground, but also it takes very intricate, high level intelligence, but it's able to kind of transform it and bring it down to, I feel like, a level to where a layman's terms, you know, a basic brand new, you know, neophyte or brand new devotee can really pick up, you know, and really get. Matter of fact, shout out to one of my clients, man, that just, you know, made it through a step one of their journey. That fact picked up the handbook, and I want to say the handbook OGC, and it was one more book, and they sent me a picture, I think like a day or two ago, saying that they ready to get it going. So I'm like, yeah, that's what's up, man. So we were doing good work, Baba. Doing good work. For sure. Yep. And so the tribe said they ready to go wherever. So we'll go back into the images because we didn't get to finish that, and I feel like that was dope too. So we'll go back into that one because I know you really wanted to touch in how all of these different images resonated. So can you you want to jump in and share, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And well, you know me, I'm writing, you know, a whole book here. Once you get all the transcripts done, it'll be like, man, Baba was writing a book. You know, you're just going from chapter to chapter, but it's all connected.
Yes, sir.
It's all connected. So here, you know, now when we meditate and tribal nation, please try to see the methodology. Since someone earlier said I was very, you know, methodic or something like that. You know what I mean? I remember Richard gave me.
No, I said you move very methodical. Everything you do is very drawn out. It's premeditated. Like you already done meditated on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, man, Baba move very methodical, like a ninja. Boy, he be in there.
I was letting the tribe know we had that discussion. He laid that this morning. But the whole thing is, so I'm building our understanding, you know, in a sense, fertilizing the soil. You know, I remember when I was a little kid, you know, we had a little backyard, and my mom would always have me, you know, I was the oldest, you know, when they cook fish or something, and there was like some remains, like the fish heads and all that kind of stuff. She said, go out in the backyard and bury this in the ground, and you know, it'll be good for the plants. And I was like, well, you know, I didn't think too much more about it. You know, mama said, go do it. You go do it. You know what I mean? But later on, you know, when I started, you know, to kind of understand the the analogy that one could make between the soil of the earth and one's mind, it became crystal clear to me, you know, like no shadow of a doubt, that you can lay information on people. You can have people read 1,000 books. You know, you can send them to the best psychologists. You can have the greatest of philosophers and religious leaders and scientists, you know, drop those pearls of knowledge and wisdom and understanding. But if that soil is not fertile, you know, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for those seeds to grow, you know? So, you know, much of my methodology is making sure that the soil is fertile, you know, and that's why I speak, you know, anecdotally. I give my experiences. You know, I share my life, not just, oh, you know, turn to page 34, read this, you know, and say these words and blah blah blah. No, it's like, you know, are we internalizing it? And the best way to do that is to be authentic, you know, be for real and relate to people like they are people and not objects. You see?
Right.
And going back to the statement you made about the handbook, which kind of, you know, triggered that, is that that's why it's called the handbook. You know, I struggled for almost a year trying to come up with a good title, only to boil it down to the handbook of Yoruba religious concepts.
That's a tough thing
And
to
I
do.
take what was seemingly so mystical and, you know, complex, and break it down to something that was digestible by the masses of people. I wasn't writing it for a thesis or, you know, my PhD, doctorate, blah, blah, blah. I didn't care about none of that. And then tell you the truth, I still don't, you know. But what I do care about is the movement of a mass of us to better our state of being. And so I struggled to put it in a way that was like, yeah, whoever this Baba Ifa Karade is, you know, we get him in our community. We get him. We are using his books in our initiation. We are reading his books, you know, before we go to Ile Ife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're getting it.
Yeah. We just got a testimonial this week from Ile out in LA. I think I spoke about it on the last live stream. Yeah. You know, Queen reached out and reached out on social media and was saying how, you know, instrumental that book is. You know what I mean? Like they that particular Ile, I can't remember the name of Ile. I don't want to mess it up, but shout out to them if anyone's watching from the Ile in LA. But yeah, they were saying that they meet weekly, you know, with their Ile, and one of the elder Babas was actually teaching the Odu or about the Odu from the handbook. I sent you the picture, as a matter of fact. So it's like this is a certified, you know, international certified, you know, bestseller and a phenomenal piece of work. Phenomenal piece of work.
Since 1994. And before that, I was selling it out of the trunk of my car in papers that was run off from daggone Staples. You know, to the the conferences and lectures and whatnot. I'm like, I'm hooking this up. But
Yes,
through
sir.
that process, I bettered myself and I bettered my relationship with my people
Mm.
in terms of what the initiatory process had done to me, you know, you know. All right, back to the picture, man. I don't want to digress.
No, you good. Let me go pull it back up real quick. Okay.
So let's just say this image here was shown to you since you were a child. This image was hung up on the wall of grandma's house. Okay. This image was a part of the emotional bonding that you had. This image was the first thing you saw in the morning and the last thing you saw at night. Trust me when I say the whole perception of self would be different than
Sure.
seeing the opposite.
Sure.
And the showing of the opposite is by design. Okay. The showing of the opposite is a diminishing, a reducing of a people. Why don't we see this? Because it empowers us. It empowers our state of mind. It empowers our state of identity. You know?
Subconscious mind.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
goes all in.
Yep.
That's what meditation is all about in terms of the impact of that which is perceptible. What is it that we're able to perceive? I can meditate on the sound of a bird, but that sound has to be there until I can, bring it to mind. The meditation upon our people as the constructors of the Sphinx, the pyramids, the Great Wall of Benin. Okay, it's difficult. It's difficult to meditate on it because it's not part of the known. You see, so the image becomes simply a work of art. The image becomes simply, oh yeah, that was cool, but it doesn't go in, it doesn't transform, it doesn't have that meditational thrust that says you were going to lift that kundalini up by means of the images that you're shown. And we can sit and we can say we're going to meditate on that image.
Yeah.
Okay. And my way of meditating may be different from another teacher's way of meditating, because in some areas meditation is absence of all things in the mind.
Mm.
In others, the way I've come to understand and teach it is that you hold on to that image, you recreate it in your mind, you repicture it, and you hold on to that picture mentally. That's part of the strengthening part. You hold on to that picture. And the longer you hold on to it, the more it's going to speak to you until it's silent. And when you reach that silence, that's called samadhi.
Mm.
Samadi. That's samadhi. When that focused meditational discipline becomes a voice in terms of recapturing the image. Like when I shut my eyes, I'm mentally redrawing and recoloring what I've seen.
Mm.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
And once I've done that, I got to stick to it. Other thoughts are going to come in. You know what I mean? Stuff going to be going on to the right, to the left. Water going to be coming down from the ceiling. You know what I mean? Stuff that was happening like
Yeah.
that. But no, I got to hold on to that image. I got to hold on to that image because that image hasn't reached samadhi yet.
Mm. Baba, can you break down what somebody means, please?
Well, it's just.
Is it like crystallization or like, you know what I mean? Like
Oh no. I would have to say that it's the absence of what is.
okay, got it.
Okay.
So it's almost like a state of nothingness.
Yes,
Gotcha.
but it has to have the something in order to become the nothing.
I got you. Okay.
Because you see, these are mental exercises. Meditation, basically, on a certain level, called transcendental meditation, one of the forms of meditation that was brought about in the late 70s. Basically, by people who just, they were kind of getting into it, and
yes,
people do Tai Chi all slow and easy, but no, Tai Chi is a fighting art. Okay, so the transcendental meditator might say, I just need to clear my mind, and I just need to keep my mind clear. Maybe I'll focus on my breathing. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes.
So I can clear my mind, just so I can de-stress. You know what I mean? I can be all right. And that's helpful. It really, really is. You don't have to be a track star to run. Okay. You get the benefits from it. You don't have to be a basketball star to go out and shoot some hoops.
Big facts.
You don't have to be a professor to read and study.
Right.
But the deeper forms of meditation are what, as I just explained. Okay.
Gotcha.
So this is where this image becomes important. If we can lock in on it and let it speak to us until it says nothing, and then when we emerge back into this state of mind, okay, we find ourselves being better at math and science and STEM and all that kind of thing. Then people are like, well, how did that happen? Because there's more ways to learning than
reading and writing.
And
shout out to Ifa Karade Nation in the building. He asked the question, what is the best time to meditate? And I would say first thing, really any time is, but I think the best time, scientifically proven, is like first thing in the morning. Like the first thing you do once you get up, you know what I'm saying? You want to brush your teeth and, shower, whatever. But the very first thing that you do is like in very early, you know what I'm saying, like beginning moments of you waking up is what they say is considered to be the best time. And especially if you're an early riser that get up at like maybe 4 or 5 a.m. Because at that time, they say that I believe the serotonin and the melatonin are working together to like kind of really help us to be able to absorb, whatever we kind of experience within that meditation time frame and practice. And that's something that I'm gonna do a deep dive with y'all, with family. I'm gonna put together like a real official presentation to go even deeper to like answer those types of questions, because it's a lot to it. But at the same time, I feel like I can wholeheartedly say from my experience, the most important thing about it is just doing it, regardless of what time you do it or how long you do it, but doing it. Me personally, I feel like a good 20, 30 minutes is definitely more than enough. But if I want to really, really unplug and like really like shoot up into the universe and astral project and travel and go all over and go all in, I try to get about an hour, hour and a half. The longest I've done straight, I think, was almost 3 hours one day. But I think the most important thing is doing it, and then also being consistent with doing it. And then, Baba, what you got in regards to the question?
I would just echo what you just laid down.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, I meditated just as strongly at any given time where there was a harmonious vibe. Sometimes the mornings can get a little rushed. Sometimes things can happen. But we have to be adaptable. But I agree wholeheartedly that the best time would be after rising and kind of stretching out a bit, and then placing yourself in a meditative posture. But again, one could meditate just as strongly at any other given time or any other given place. Okay, once you learn how to do it,
right,
then like you stated, Baba Ifa Karade, then you do it.
Yeah.
You're alone in the house for a while. You got a minute. You know what I mean?
Like,
and clicking on the TV. You click on the,
And even if you ain't alone, look, I got my AirPods, man. Them things sitting right over here on my other desk. I put them things in, and I get in.
Go in.
Go hard too. I got a dope meditation track that. I got to see if I can share that. I can't remember where I got it from, so I don't know if I paid for it or what. But we got another question too. And appreciate you joining us, Creative Minds. We got a new member to the tribe, Peace Kings, new to the channel. What should you see when you meditate? Let me tell you something. It varies. It really varies. I'll share with me. Sometimes I'll see nothing but pitch black, nothing but darkness, like I'm in the universe. Sometimes I see visions. Sometimes I see orbs. Sometimes if I astral project, I see the universe zipping by. Like I see like stars and planets and all kind of stuff, like a super warp speed, kind of like Superman. But what's today? Today's Saturday. I want to say Thursday, either Wednesday or Thursday. I had a really powerful, strong meditation, and I actually saw beings. And it's not the first time I've seen them before. I believe they call them like the Council of Light or the Brotherhood of Light, something like that. But I saw beings during a Reiki session one time that I shared. I think it's on the podcast with the healer who gave me the session, Millie. Shout out to Millie. But Wednesday or Thursday, I believe, I had a really strong, deep meditation. And it was dope because I saw some very powerful, I felt the energy and the power of beings. And they were in all white. They were very melanated. They were, I don't know, I'll say maybe 2 to 3 shades darker than Baba and I, but they were in all white, like suits, kind of like the people who've seen like the I would say most general statue of Obatala, like that people put on their shrines where he has that white robe on. They had on like white, similar like that, like white robes. And some of them had like big froze, some of them had like long, like straight, melanated people, but their hair was kind of straight and it laid down. But it was dope, man. And yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and I saw that. And then there's sometimes where I see like spirals, and it's just there's no real rhyme or reason from my own personal experiences of what I've seen. And sometimes I don't see anything. Baba, what about you?
Well, I'm going to share this in addition to.
Okay.
All right. Now, I just happen to have beside me my first object of meditation. And again, there are different types of meditation, just like there's different types of everything. Now, when I first learned how to meditate, it goes back to what I previously stated. Having a particular object, okay, and locking in on that object, recreating that object in your mind, eyes closed, holding on to that object. Because see, before you can really get to samadhi, it's going to take years, okay, to constantly and at any given point in time deeply focus on the object. Now, I'll share this with you. I've had this object with me since 1978.
That's dope, okay? Too.
And when I started to say, I'm going to, really kind of get into this meditation thing, I would sit it up, okay, gaze it, start to carve within my mind, like the creator of this carved within wood, and lock in on it, and just not let anything to the right or to the left, above or below, move me from that. And then I said, okay, well, now that I'm working on that, then it was, the whole candles thing. People light a candle, they're in front of the candle, okay? You close your eyes, you can still see the light of the candle inside. But you got to lock in on it. You got to hold it there. Okay? And in your stillness of mind, you are taking the first steps towards meditation. Okay. Now, again, the transcendental meditation is just is valid. Okay, which I kind of have to say it was more of Orishas technique, but different people have different techniques. Okay. And I think the strongest point that we can share with you is, first of all, go slowly, because there are repercussions. Right? There are repercussions. There are times when you're just not going to be yourself. There are going to be mind slips. There's going to be openings. I was taking a particular type of yoga, back in the day, and I tell you no lie, start hearing people's thoughts. I'm walking through the grocery store. I'm hearing these things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how is this possible? Well, because once the mind starts opening, you start to now understand what it is to be like a shaman, what it is to be like, someone with, paranormal capabilities and capacities. Okay. In yoga, it's called siddhis, Siddhis. And this is when your focused mind starts to turn in on itself, and as a result, your sensory perception becomes extrasensory perception. Now, see, this is not, child's play right here, So when you start to meditate, I would suggest you get a mentor, someone who has a style of meditation that you can breathe easily with, and understand that there's no one style, just like there's no one technique for almost any and everything, But once you find what works for you, then you understand that it now becomes a way of your life.
I say.
And hopefully the sister, hopefully together, Orisha Bami and myself have given you some insight in the directions to take.
I say.
Possible directions.
Baba, boy, listen, I'm gonna share something real quick, and I'm gonna jump into what you just said. But so
let me put your object back before I start locking in on it. Don't you?
No, I'm gonna turn out the lights for a minute, because this one. So this is one that I like to use. And I don't know how it's gonna show up on the screen with y'all, but this one I got is a crystal, right? But it has the metahedron symbol in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And I like, sometimes, depending on the mood I'm in, I'll literally put this on the floor, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4, 6 feet away from me, and I'll just lock in on it with my third eye. I'll just, look at it simultaneously, like just straight. And man, you can see some stuff like unfold with it. And for those who are regulars, like, that's a little crystal ball that I keep right here in the backdrop, on my little backdrop back here. I keep it up there just to kind of be there for more. It's for design for the show, but in regards to meditation, I use that sometimes to meditate with as well. But what you just said just now, though, Baba, that's wild. Because listen, I promise you, I was just talking about that this week, within 3 or 4 days ago. I actually had an experience like that walking through Target, and it blew my mind. Like, I was like, yo, it blew my mind completely, because I've never experienced anything like that. And every person that I walk by, I could read their mind, and I'm like, yo, I need to get up out of the store. Because I thought I was tripping. I'm like, yo, but I mean, it was like Magneto or whichever one of the X-Men that can read your mind, but it threw me for a loop, because I'm like, yo, like, I was so blown. Like, I was like, I gotta get out of here.
X. Got that mind thing happening.
It was profoundly powerful. I was blown away by it. I didn't like it because I didn't, and luckily it wasn't nobody saying nothing crazy, but it was just like, yo, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was
because
a lot.
We aren't raised to accept our full potential.
Facts.
And when we get into Ifa Isese, we aren't cognizant of the unfolding that happens when we de-Christianize ourselves, de-biblicize ourselves, de-infantize ourselves, and not little kids,
right.
And dehumanize ourselves and start, walking this earth like we own it. You understand? And our natures just expand, and again we become the shamans. We become the extrasensory perceivers. We can see the forces in operation. We are part of that world now. You see, we're just not actors on the stage. We are part of the beginning. You know, we're part of the end. We are part of the resurrection. And it all works together, but it has to come from a state of mind. The practice of meditation, isharo, is a part of that training. Now, as a martial artist back in the day, I've seen people do some things that I'm like, that's impossible. How is that even possible?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but then if you in it for a while, you start to see that, based on certain trainings and techniques, how possible it is.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
so yeah, that it's incumbent upon us to start getting into the beyond the senses, because our senses have been trained to be like horses with the blinders on them.
Yeah.
And we take the blinders off, and the next thing we're having a different experience in life, and we're bringing people into that experience and showing them how to enhance themselves by the experience, not how to manipulate people and bewitch people and bespell people, because it's the same type of power. Remember the cities that the yogis and the gurus warn us against. They don't get caught up in the powers of it.
Mm.
Get caught up in the empowerment of it.
I say. Yeah.
Hey,
Shout out.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I was saying shout out to Star Love, like another new listener. I don't recall seeing Star Love yet, but yeah, that's real. And what Star Love is speaking about for the I'm pretty sure everybody out here done seen it, but
Mhm.
for what she's speaking about, as soon as I read her message, if it's a female, I'm not sure, but if it's not, I apologize. But as soon as I read the message, I'm like, the first thing I thought about was the Black Panther movie when T'Challa went to the realm of the ancestors, when he took the herb. And then he went to the realm of the ancestors, you know what I mean? And then he was able to see his father and his ancestors, he was chopping it up with him. That's a real thing. All that's real. Like if you dream, sometimes when I dream, I get to
Yeah,
communicate with the ancestors. Or if you go deep enough in a deep meditation, or if you have an ancestral shrine and you sit at your shrine, you get some communication right there, buddy. I'm telling you. like that. Look, I think that's probably like, for me personally, that's probably like one of the most prolific gateways or portals in regards to communication with spirit. Either that or another practice that I just started doing. I had met a brother from one of my presentations at the college, one of my master classes I did for marketing. And we got together and met up because he's an avid cigar smoker. So I was like, you know what, I'm not really a cigar smoker, but I know I've been told that's a good place to network because a lot of, successful business entrepreneurs and all that meet and congregate and, and the cigar lounges, just chopping up or what have you. So I was like, okay, we met up and he introduced me to a cigar and I'm like, yo, I like this. Like it was a really nice cigar. I'm not even a big cigar guy or fan, but I like that particular one. But what I found is sometimes when I'm having my me time, I'll go on the patio and have the same brand that he introduced me to. And I really feel as if I get downloads directly from spirit. Now I saw something not too long ago recently online where someone was saying that the cigar, something with the cigar, they tied it to spirit and ancestors. I can't remember how they worded it, but I agreed with it because when I do that, sometimes I feel like spirit is communicating directly to me and with me, which is kind of dope. I like it. It's profound though, because is there any like science to that? Or is there any?
Oh yeah,
You put on that?
there's a deep science to it, and just like you connected with the Black Panther, he took an herb. Okay, all right. So and again, I kind of dropped this silently in one of our last podcasts, but the Ifa priests, they would take hallucinogenics, mushrooms. Okay, they smoke herb. You know what I
I'm
mean?
scared of them shrooms. I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. Look,
But
I know some priests in the EIs that be doing it, but I'm like,
yeah, but again, different strokes for
yeah,
different folks.
different folks.
You
Yeah,
know,
yep,
but that's global.
yeah, yeah.
Shamanic folks who are quote unquote priestly. They have you know other ways to reach altered states. But see, there are also meditators. There are also those who know how to sit in silence. so that when they do take these substances, they exactly, they don't bug out. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and when and when they do, reach certain stages of mental development, where they're talking to God. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They,
Yes.
they don't, try to use it to harm people.
Right.
They come back with the realization that that realm that they've journeyed to enhances them to be a helpful person to humanity.
Mm.
Ipore Re, to bring the world to a better state.
Mm.
That is one of the pillars of Ifa Isese. That
Gotcha.
cannot be denied. It cannot be not talked about. It cannot be, not. It has to be there. Good people, it has to be there. And however we reach those state of minds via prayer, mushrooms, marijuana, cigars, quiet time in the forest, which is my thing, then however you get there. But it's what you come back with.
Mm.
You come back with forming the Ashe channel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You come back with writing books. You come back with being a pillar within the tribal nation.
Yes.
That's what you come back with, and anything else you come back with that's helpful, beneficial.
Yeah. No, that's real. And I'm telling you, it's been so many times where I got a download where it's like I can't even name all of them because it's been so many times that I went out there and I sat and I listened to spirit, and and it's just like so many different downloads. One time I'll never forget, I was in a situation where I was in a bit of a heated debate or discussion, right?
Mhm.
And then I remember going out there, and I remember as I'm out there, I remember spirit telling me, like, man, you need to tighten up. Like, you sitting there, you allowing this BS to like have your energy down or have you on operating on a low vibrational frequency,
Yeah.
when that's just a simple miscommunication or a disagreement that easily can be ironed out and fixed. Get
Yeah.
your ass in there and figure out,
Yes.
how to come to grips and meet in a happy, peaceful
Yeah.
manner and get this thing going and stop bull crapping,
Yeah.
BSing. You know what I mean? So it was like, I want to say, but I'm trying to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
You know.
no, but for real, but it's like, but I'm like, damn, man, like, yeah, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got it. And it's like, so it's been time when I be out there in spirit to kick my ass, but in a good way, because it's like me
Whoop you up a
owning
bit.
me and making me be accountable for being able to take charge of a situation and do what's best to get through it, rather than let the situation knock me down and knock me around and be, you know what I'm saying, tripping over it. So it's like you control all aspects of your life and your experience. Figure out how to make it happen and stay in control. You know what I mean? Even if it means, acquiescing to meeting, other people where they are, so y'all can, figure out how, you can meet, amicably and move past it. You know what I mean? So it's like, or it could be an issue I'm trying to figure out with something with the channel or something with the community, or, whatever, business related. And then I'm sitting there chilling and bam, answer comes right to me. I'm like, damn, what?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's go. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a real thing. And I
All,
think meditation is more powerful to me
yeah.
personally. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
And take that to the first the picture that you showed, with our folks sitting down there, planning the building of something great. You think they're getting all agitated and fussing and cussing at each other, and you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I got this and you ain't got that. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
walk around and no, you got to have that clarity of mind and a behavioral expression
Mm,
that puts you in that meditative state of mind, that working meditation,
mm-hmm.
in order to accomplish the greatest of goals. Let's see the
Absolutely.
next picture.
Oh, okay. I got one quick question, if you don't mind, and then I'll bring it right back up, Baba. So, Karade Nation in the building. Shout out to Ifa Isese. You got that one, Baba?
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what he means by Isan ego. What
Okay,
what what's his interpretation?
okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask him if he can explain it clearer, and then I'll go ahead and show the next picture while we get that worked out.
To it because you know I don't want to answer not knowing. Ah, my sister here. Okay.
Hold on, brother. My bad. This
Take your time.
certain things I type on the keyboard, it does certain things. Okay, I'm back. I got it back. It's certain, like when I hit shift, I think it does something to the screen, but we got it now. So you said the sister now?
Yes, yes, yes. Now I wanted this picture to kind of show, to the mind's eye, that symbol of grace and sisterhood and womanhood within our tribal nation, and to let this shine as an image, okay, of grace and beauty. Okay. Now she just passed away, Jameson last name, and she was the cultural director of the Alvin Ailey dance troupe, choreographer and all. But it was just something about this picture that just impressed itself upon my mind, like the posture, the pose, and whoever the photographer was, he was into the spirit.
Yeah.
You just don't accidentally, capture a person's aura or their essence, their ashe, if you will.
I didn't see it last night, but the way I see it right now, man, that picture wholeheartedly reminds me of the bust of Oduduwa.
Okay.
A little bit. It really does. For those who have seen that bust of Oduduwa, like they could be like twins, like male and female twins, because like the shape of her head, the hairstyle, and the pose, like it really. Matter of fact, what a cover of OGC. Here you go. Look, Baba. I tell you what. Let me do one better.
Okay.
So the cover of OGC. That picture reminds me of this right here, family.
Yes.
It really, truly does. And I'm like, yo, I didn't peep that when we did the call the other day when we were sharing. But actually, I don't think we got to that picture. But even when I saw it, I didn't peep that. But that's what that reminds me of. It reminds me of that bus right there, which is powerful.
Well, and the Nupe people of Nigeria, okay. Yeah, that's the bus, and the creation around the sculpture that they unearthed, Tada, Tada, is how I had one of the members of the Temple of the Mystic Path, Brother Manster, okay, to try to capture it, man. Put it there, and the the connection that you just made is profound and deep. To say that as a part of my own experience, that's part of the reason why the picture had such an impact on me. From that internal meditational state of mind, because we start to make connections when our minds are clear that we don't even know.
That's amazing, man. I'm just like, now that I'm just looking at it, like that is utterly amazing. That she really looks like very, very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Jameson. So Ibaye, she just passed recently, but she will remain alive, through us, because that's what we do for our ancestors. That's what we do for our people. And they don't have to look like not us in order for us for Ibale, in order for us, to Ikunle, to kneel in supplication and say, this is us. And what she represents is the beauty and grace of not only a Black woman, but of Black people, because she gives birth to us, to our creativity, to our dignity, to our nobility, And these are pictures of worth. These are the images that we need to surround ourselves with. It can't be, oh, well, I've seen that picture before. Well, how many other pictures do you see that don't empower you, that dispower you?
Facts.
Every time you open your eyes and walk down the street, you're seeing images. Every time you turn on the TV, images. Well, I don't know if people still listen to the radio, but stream. You know what I mean? You are hearing things, you are seeing things, and you are hearing it and seeing it over and over and over again, and it's forming your reality. Why can't we see more of her?
Facts.
So it forms our reality. We are Ifa Isese. We are the Afrofuturistic beings from 7 generations in the future, here and now, preparing for the future. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, I got the clarity for the question too, Baba. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna bring it back up for the Karade Nation.
Yes.
Okay, here it is. So he was saying, can you meditate with like Opaeku? You know, the Yugungun,
Yeah.
those who have it. Yeah, I was gonna answer that because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
me on some new ways to meditate as well.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, well, the OPA is the staff, and the staff is symbolic, you know.
yeah.
And in answer to your question, you can meditate on your fingertip,
Mm,
you know. From the Tai Chi, we have the birch claw, you know, and you sit and you place it like this, and you just focus on where all fingers and thumb meet.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
And there's certain postures where you hold. Okay. So you see, I mean, you can meditate on a raindrop. One of the first short stories that I wrote that was published by Black Gold Press back in the 80s dealt with, you know, a situation, and the major character was sitting like you know, on the apartments uh where they have the little iron porches or stair steps in the fire escape, and she got into the meditation of the raindrops, you know, the sound of the rain hitting the iron and the splashes that they made. I only say that to say, you know, you can meditate on anything that your eyes can see, that your ears can hear, that your nose can smell. You know, if you can sense it, you can meditate on it. Now, it helps to learn the symbolism, like say if it's a carving, what does such and such symbolize, and why is there a bird on it? You know what I mean? Then you got to do your study, because again, it's just not, well, I'm just going to look at it. No, it's like I need to learn about it. I need to know about it. So when I meditate on it, it has a greater voice inside of me. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. You know.
Ashe. Ashe. Ooh. Okay.
Mhm.
So we got another picture too. So I know we're running close up on time, family. So I'm gonna throw that one up there real quick. Bye bye.
Okay.
And then so this one. What is this one, Baba? This picture right here.
Oh, whew.
That's one of the ones you sent me to.
Yeah. You know, talk. You know, I just need for us to see ourselves in royal garb.
I said.
You know, I just need to see, you know, pictures of us as, oh well, we were kings and queens and da 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 da. You know, but still that image of royal adornment. You know, that image of royal grace and stature. Okay. Now we can talk about uh,
I'm just gonna say black excellence.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how I see it.
Right.
Greatness, sovereignty.
Yes. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when's the last time we've ever seen it? When's the last time we ever had discussions about it?
Right. Right.
So it's imperative that we have these pictures around us to remind us of what we have not forgotten, but disallowed to reconnect with. And that kind of led me to a real current understanding about memories. You know, we don't ever forget anything. We don't. We just forget how to connect with that thing. You know, other things come between it. We know we may even age out of it in terms of dementia or whatever, but those memories are still there. We just don't access them. And when we start studying meditation and ajaga, you know, yogic sciences and all, you know, related to seeing images like this, we understand that, and I shared this before, that memories are stored in our bodies, not just in our brains.
Sure.
And that's why we can go to a senior citizen home, for example. You know, I was playing with one of the bands that I used to perform with. We go to senior citizens homes, and there's people who can't even remember their name, but if they hear a song, they'll get up and start dancing.
Wow.
And they'll start to sing the song, even though they've forgotten so much else about their life. Because those memories are stored in various places throughout the body. And just like I warned against, you know, the powers of meditation, the siddhis, that I also warned about people who start, you know, doing yoga and Reiki and things of that nature. Because when you start unlocking the body, you're unlocking memories that have been stored in those bodies.
Yes, sir.
And not all memories are good.
And epigenetics. Yeah.
Yes. You see? So, but here again, as we dismantle, we build. So we want to bring more of these images into the forefront and not depend on his storybooks and his movies and his religious interpretations and Sistine Chapel images of what is God and godly and medieval Eurocentric pictures of, you know, I can tell you about the castles and princess this and king this, you know.
Tell our story.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah. I mean, we really don't. And we don't, you know, we don't even really need to compare ourselves to it.
No, sir.
Outside of comparative analysis, but in terms of comparative justification, no. No. Okay. I don't need to justify Ifa from a Abrahamic standpoint. Now, I'll do a comparative analysis, show how they're the same and show how they're different, but I'm not going to, you know, argue that Ifa is the same as a Christian or Muslim or Judeo. You know, understand this outside of the human need to, you know, bring into a finiteness the infinite and to live by and try to create ideals for life and afterlife.
Shay. And I'm glad, and Kosi, appreciate you for saying that, man, because you triggered one of my memories. So when Kosi was saying like that, the last image that I just had up reminds him of the statue that you had up behind you the other night. But I meant to ask you, Baba, what was that statue, man? That thing was powerful. Like, what was the statue that you had? It had the beautiful round head.
That's Queen Mother, man. That's Queen Mother.
I meant to tell you, man, that thing was ice cold. I meant to tell you after we got off the podcast, but you remember I had the technical difficulties. I had to jump into quality control and try to, you know, get the fire hose out.
Okay.
But yeah, that was
powerful. Zoom in on it, you see she was nursing a child.
Yes, I saw that.
Nursing a child. Now, come on now. This goes back long before the, you know, Euro, you know,
long days ago.
Long ways. When the female essence was the goddess,
as it should be, the IJ,
capital God.
Yes, sir.
You know, and then how could she not be?
Facts.
How could she not be? You know, except if she's whipped and burned and hung and drowned into submission, you know, to
And you
some.
better be careful with that, boy, because the EIME will make sure that they have something to say about that there, buddy.
Well, it'll just say it'll be a long time coming because the whole white male patriarchy and macho and all that kind of stuff is rampant, and it's a part of their religious construct.
Yeah.
So we have to isolate ourselves from them. You know what I mean? We got to navigate, yeah, well, again, because we are where we are, but that doesn't mean we have to believe or try to explain ourselves. It's just we got to be over here doing what we're doing.
Yes, sir. That's facts.
I ain't trying to make friends with them people, man. I ain't trying to make enemies out of them either. I just need to do what I came here to do.
That's all I do. What I came to do, and I'm not really overly concerned about too much more.
Now they want to make me an enemy, by poking and getting all in my face with stupid stuff. Then okay, it is what you made it. And I got a long history of genetic reasons why I'm just going to meditate my way into your body and just tear you up from the inside. You won't know that you've been dead until you get home.
Okay. Look, I got to turn the sirens on now, boy. Listen. So, like what you just said, right? You remind me. I forgot to share the links to. I'm gonna share the links to like 1804. Excuse me, all those documentaries that I was sharing. That I was talking about with Professor Small. But what you were just telling me, what you were just sharing with us, it reminds me of there's a part in the documentary 1804 where Francois Macandile, he was like one of the major components, one of the major element warriors in that whole the success of the Haitian Revolution. So before what he did is, I don't want to ruin the documentary for y'all, but long story short, he was able to help the revolution by, he was a very powerful herbalist. So what he would do is he would teach the brothers and the sisters on the plantations and on the boots on the ground how to work with the herbs to help to be able to eliminate the threat of the enemy.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. But I don't want to ruin it for y'all who are going to check out the movie, or the documentary. But when they caught him, they did eventually catch him once they got hit. Actually, no, I take it back. It was a damn collaborator that turned him in. But when they caught him, based upon the collaborator, right? They caught him and he told them, he said, that's fine, y'all got me here, okay, whatever. He said, but I'm coming back. I'm back, and I'm coming to blood. And he said, I'm coming back as a mosquito, and I'm gonna eat y'all ass up. So fast forward now, a couple more decades further down the line, if you think about it, that was a very, very, very powerful or significant outbreak of malaria that started breaking out. And lo and behold, he fulfilled that prophecy by his spirit came back in the form of a mosquito and was killing him. So I'm like, oh, boy, better be careful, boy. Who you messing with out here, man? Because some people just have a higher level of consciousness, or the ability to transform.
Yeah.
Like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and all, and like transform and then still get the job done. With or without a body. So I thought that was pretty powerful.
Yeah. All right, man. So
yeah, well, family. I think that's it. We've been going pretty hard, man. We went real hard today, but I appreciate everybody who showed up and showed out, man. We had a nice congregation this evening. A lot of the tribe came through. Our regulars, we had some new family come through and stop in and chop it up with us. But yeah, I definitely, as always, Baba, appreciate all that you do. Excuse me, the time that you spend with us and investing in us, pouring in us, and just sharing your words of wisdom, and your ashe, man. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, tribe. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And we got a lot more in store. Excuse me, I've been working the phones and getting things cracking, man, to bring even more, ashe and more elders and more prolific speakers and guests to the platform. So we're working on queuing up them schedules, man, to make it do what it do. But y'all always know, excuse me, we're gonna be here to make it do what it do, Baba and I, and the regulars that we normally have as well. And yeah, we're gonna just keep, building, keep growing, and keep slanging this Ashe in these Ashe streets, man, for sure.
What about get for the class tomorrow?
Oh yeah, for those who are interested in going on a much deeper level, we do have 2 tiers for the membership. We have the basic community tier. That one gets you access to members only videos, exclusive live streams, as well as excuse me, several other perks for that tier. But then the VIP tier is something that we're going to do up until going into the beginning of next year, when Baba and I launched the Ashe Ifa Institute. We're going to be doing, but we're going to still hold courses, private, group training sessions up until then, starting tomorrow. So tomorrow we're starting at 12 p.m. So for anybody who wants to join us with that, you can click the link.
Much?
I'm sorry?
How much?
Just $24.99 a month is what we're doing for that one. And the goal is to deliver 20 times, more knowledge, more value, more information for the training courses, to really pour in. And even with the basic tier, with the $5 membership, that's the first one. I'm gonna be pouring in a whole lot. And for those who are already in there, they got to see the private Mukasa Dada interview, who is one of the founding fathers of the Black Panther Party, who I'm working on getting him into the tribe as well. I want to get a private call with him to come in and really share, more in depth, and even to the point where we can have Q&A, where the tribe can kind of, speak to him directly. The thing is about that, family, is that there's certain conversations that we have that need to be had that we can't have, on YouTube, because the channel, we don't want to get flagged by speaking on the deep truths. But at the end of the day, we have to share the truth. It's just that we have to share it in a different space. But with that, though, anybody who joins, we appreciate you. And even if you don't, we still appreciate you, because we appreciate y'all being here, and that means everything. Shout out to Mr. Rodriguez, showing love again, man. I appreciate the super thanks and the super likes, man. We definitely appreciate you, bro. And then we got some people shouting out on the way out. Shout out to Khalif. Appreciate you. Shout out to Miss Cook. Miss Cook been going ham in the comments. I appreciate you, Miss Cook. She definitely is a new family member to the Ashe tribe, that she's been going ham on the comments. We appreciate you. Mr. Rodriguez, we appreciate you as well. We appreciate all y'all, family. We really do. And for those who are in the VIP, we'll see y'all tomorrow at noon. And yeah, it's been real, man. It's been love. It's been real. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. So don't forget to please like, share, subscribe. And yeah, we'll definitely be back next week with some more lives. And then I still got a ton of content that needs to get uploaded on the channel that I'll be putting up in the next couple of days too, on top of the live streams that we're going to make happen on a regular basis based off of Baba and I's schedule. So family, we appreciate y'all, man. We really do. And likewise, Karade Nation, Ifa Isese, we appreciate you as well, man. It's love. It's all reciprocity, And to quote one of our profound African adages, it goes something like, I am because we are, and because we are, I am. So that's how I feel about that, Baba. What about you?
I feel as though that is so profound, man. How can we get any deeper than that?
Yes, sir.
I am because we are because I am.
Ashe. Yeah. Ashe. It's been real, family. So we out, man. So don't forget to please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one. This is your host, Orisha Bemi, and for the Oloye, Ojise, Oba, Baba Ifa Karade, we out. Appreciate y'all, family.
Udabo.
Udabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́, tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn, ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ, ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your